They told you to smile, to be polite, to not make waves. So you built a version of yourself that was easier for the world to love. But here's the truth. While that version helped you survive, it's now suffocating the real you. And the worst part? You've been so busy trying to keep it together that you haven't even realized how much life you're losing by pretending to be someone you're not. You don't hate yourself, you just don't know yourself. Because the person you present to the world was built for acceptance, not authenticity. And yes, that mask got you this far. But it's heavy now, isn't it? Quietly draining your soul, one silent compromise at a time. Every fake laugh, every forced "I'm fine." That's your spirit begging you to stop lying to stay safe. This video isn't just another feel-good pep talk. It's a wake-up call. What if everything you've labeled as overthinking or insecurity is actually your soul trying to speak up? What if the universe has been whispering the same thing over and over again? It's time to come home to yourself. You ready to find out who you really are beneath the performance? You don't actually hate yourself. You're just exhausted from pretending to be someone you're not. The version of you that's been walking through life? That's the performed self, the one you had to become to survive. You built it to feel safe, to avoid rejection, to earn love, or at least the illusion of it. And sure, it worked for a while. But now it's draining you. Deep down, the universe has been nudging you to remember the real you underneath the performance. This mask you wear, it's polished, rehearsed, socially acceptable, but it's also suffocating. You find yourself in rooms full of people, yet feel like no one really sees you. That's not loneliness. That's the ache of self-abandonment. You keep showing up as the version that people clap for, not the one who actually feels. And here's the truth. You're not crazy for feeling off. You're just disconnected from your truth, from the parts of you that never got permission to breathe. Think about it. How many times have you laughed when you wanted to cry, agreed when you wanted to scream, or said, "I'm fine," when your soul was crumbling? That isn't you being polite, that's you betraying yourself. And the more you betray yourself, the more invisible you feel. You can't let go of pain you haven't even named yet. That's why this process of peeling back layers might feel terrifying. But it's the only way back to you. If I asked you right now, who are you without the mask? Could you answer? Most people can't. And that's okay. You're not failing at life. You're waking up. This moment right here is sacred. Because the second you admit the performance isn't working anymore, you begin to unlock the secret. Your real power was never in being accepted. It was in being you. That truth? It'll set you free, but it'll also shake everything you thought was solid. So now you're standing at the edge. You feel torn between keeping up the act or diving into the unknown parts of yourself. That internal tension, that pressure in your chest, it's not weakness. It's the universe knocking. And when the knock gets louder, you'll either answer it or numb it. But numbing has a cost, and deep down, you already know the price is you. What if I told you that the path to freedom doesn't begin with answers, but with questions? Real, raw, sometimes ugly questions like, what do I actually want? Or what am I tired of pretending to enjoy? The truth is, you can't love someone you've never met, and that includes yourself. So, if you're ready, let's explore where that disconnection began. Because the roots go way deeper than you think. You didn't wake up one day and decide to abandon yourself. That wasn't a choice, it was a strategy. You were a child in a world that often punished authenticity and rewarded performance. Maybe love came with conditions. Maybe chaos taught you to stay small. So you learned to shapeshift. Smile when you were hurting, hide your anger, shrink your needs. That wasn't weakness. That was you doing what you had to do to survive. The secret is you weren't born disconnected, you were trained to disconnect. In unstable homes, your emotions became a threat to harmony. In strict cultures, your individuality was labeled rebellion. And somewhere along the way, you swallowed the lie that your true self wasn't safe. So you buried your feelings, your opinions, your truth. You became what others needed, and slowly forgot what you needed. This isn't about blame. Your parents, teachers, or community. They were likely wounded too. But understanding that doesn't mean you skip the grief. You have every right to feel the pain of your own disappearance. You have every right to look at your life and whisper, "I miss me," because letting go of who you had to become means grieving the one you were never allowed to be. You might find it hard to identify what you want now. That's not because you're lost. It's because you were never given space to want without guilt. When someone asks, "What makes you happy?" and you freeze, that's the echo of a life spent serving others' expectations. But here's the truth. Your desires are not dangerous. They're a compass the universe placed inside you, waiting to be heard again. And listen, even now, parts of you still think approval is the prize. But the real prize is peace. Approval is rented. Peace is owned. You've spent so much energy molding yourself into someone likable, and yet the emptiness hasn't gone away. Why? Because you can't fake your way into wholeness. That comes only when you start honoring your own heartbeat again. So let's not rush this part. You're not just healing, you're remembering. You're rebuilding a relationship with the self you abandoned to feel safe. And like any relationship, it starts with presence, curiosity, and patience. But before you can love what you see in the mirror, you've got to let yourself feel. And that's exactly where we're headed next. You've been carrying grief you never gave yourself permission to feel. Not because you're weak, but because no one taught you how. You learned to get over it, to be strong, to keep smiling when your heart was cracking. But healing doesn't come from pretending things didn't hurt. Healing begins when you stop performing and allow yourself to witness your pain without shame. The universe doesn't rush the truth, and neither should you. Let yourself get angry. Let yourself mourn. Punch a pillow, scream in the car, cry in the shower. This isn't about being dramatic. It's about getting real. You're not just grieving events. You're grieving your absence from your own life. Rage is sacred when it clears the space for something more honest to rise. That anger you feel is not a problem, it's a compass. See, when you let yourself feel it all, you're not falling apart, you're finally coming together. For years, you abandoned your truth to be accepted. Now you're choosing truth over illusion. Mourning doesn't mean blaming your parents or resenting your past. It means standing beside your inner child and saying, "I see what you went through, and I'm here now." That moment of presence changes everything. There's a version of you buried under years of silence, and they've been waiting, patiently, painfully, for you to return. So don't rush to fix it. Don't skip the tears. Let them fall like rain on dry ground. Grieving is not weakness. It's the secret door to your real self. The more you let go of pretending everything is fine, the more space you create for something real to bloom. And you'll notice something strange when you mourn with intention. You start to breathe differently. There's a lightness that sneaks in. You feel less afraid, more grounded. That's the gift the universe gives to those who stop numbing and start feeling. You can't build your future while carrying unspoken grief. That backpack's too heavy, and it's not even full of your stuff anymore. This is your sacred permission to pause, to feel, to scream, to write letters you don't send, to dance in your living room like your spirit is on fire. Because only when you honor what was, can you begin to love what is. And in learning how to love yourself, you'll finally understand what self-love truly means. Self-love isn't a bubble bath or a pretty quote on Instagram. It's not about feeling good all the time. Actually, it often starts in the most uncomfortable moments, when you choose to do what's right for you even when it's hard. You don't feel self-love first. You act it. And the more you act it, the more it becomes a voice inside you. A voice that says, "I matter," even when it's messy. Think about it. You brush your teeth even when you're tired, right? Not because you love the act, but because you know it's care. Self-love works the same way. You ask yourself hard questions like, "What's draining me?" Or "Why am I still here?" That's not indulgent, that's wisdom. The secret is, you don't wait until you love yourself to take care of yourself. You start taking care, and the love grows from there. Self-love looks like setting a boundary that makes your voice shake. Like saying no to the dinner you don't want to go to. Like walking away from the job that's killing your spirit. These aren't glamorous moves, they're powerful ones. And yes, people may not clap for them, but the universe will. Every time you choose truth over performance, you're choosing healing over habit. And here's the funny thing, real love feels awkward at first. That's normal. It's not what you were taught. You were taught to please, to achieve, to fix. But love listens, pauses, it notices. Start by observing your patterns. What makes you shrink? What makes you feel alive? Try journaling it. Or take yourself on a solo walk without music. Just you and your thoughts. You'll be surprised what surfaces when you're finally quiet enough to hear yourself. Let go of the idea that love is a destination. It's not a moment you arrive at. It's a practice you return to. Every single day. Sometimes it's a warm meal. Sometimes it's canceling plans. Sometimes it's making that doctor appointment you've been avoiding for months. Real love is about action. The truth? You've always deserved that kind of care. You just forgot how to give it to yourself. So start small. One honest conversation with yourself a day. One bold yes to joy. One quiet no to chaos. Over time, those little actions stack up. And they build something unshakable. Because when you start to parent yourself with compassion, you unlock something powerful. Your inner child finally starts to trust you again. And that's exactly where we're headed next. You might not realize it yet, but there's a younger version of you still living inside. Confused, hurt, and waiting for someone to show up. That someone is you. Reparenting isn't about blaming your parents or rewriting your past. It's about becoming the adult you always needed. That means no longer abandoning your emotions, no longer silencing your needs, and no longer sacrificing your truth to be good. You don't need permission to begin, just presence. When you say no and actually mean it, that's reparenting. When you speak your truth, even if your voice shakes, that's reparenting. When you let yourself rest without guilt or feel anger without shame, you're telling that younger self, I've got you now. The universe has been waiting for you to return to you. That's the secret. Healing doesn't require perfection. It requires intention. And that starts with one brave decision at a time. At first, this will feel unnatural. You might feel selfish, dramatic, even childish. But hear me, those reactions are just echoes of old programming. You were taught that your needs were too much, that your tears were annoying, that your boundaries were disrespectful. But that was survival training, not truth. And now you get to let go of that outdated script and rewrite your own. One boundary at a time. Start small. Next time you feel like saying yes to keep the peace, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually want this? That's a powerful practice. Or when an old emotion bubbles up, don't shut it down. Say to yourself, it's okay to feel this. I'm not in danger anymore. That level of self-trust rebuilds the bridge to your soul. You're not being overreactive. You're reconnecting with what was once rejected. And no, this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you were before the world taught you to hide. That child inside you, they didn't need to be fixed. They needed to be loved, heard, and protected. Now you're the one with the power to do that. And as you begin to show up for yourself, something incredible happens. You feel safer, even when life isn't. That's the magic the universe gives to those who show up for themselves. So if it feels hard right now, that's okay. You're undoing years of self-betrayal. You're laying new tracks where only survival once existed. And in the silence after the storm, you'll hear a new voice begin to rise. Not the critic, not the performer, but something softer, kinder, something worth listening to. Let's talk about that next. That voice in your head, the one that calls you lazy, dramatic, not enough. It's not the real you. It's a collection of old echoes. Teachers who shamed you, parents who misunderstood you, cultures that demanded perfection. Over time, you internalized those voices until they felt like your own. But here's the truth. Just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's true. You're not broken, you've just been listening to the wrong narrator. The inner critic thrives on performance. It feeds on your fear of rejection, your need to be perfect, your desire to never be too much. Every time you silence your truth to please someone else, the critic claps. That voice gets louder the more you abandon yourself. But the moment you let go of perfection and choose authenticity, you starve it. And in that silence, something new begins to grow. You don't kill the critic by fighting it. You disarm it by not feeding it. Start noticing when it shows up. Is it when you're about to rest? About to speak up? About to say no? That's not coincidence, it's pattern. And patterns can be broken. You break them by choosing a different response. You say, I hear you, but I'm not following you anymore. That's not weakness. That's power. Start building a new internal playlist. One that includes affirmations like, I'm safe to be me, or it's okay to take up space. At first, these words might feel fake, awkward, maybe even silly. That's normal. Your brain's been conditioned for criticism, not kindness. But the universe responds to what you practice, not just what you believe. Practice speaking to yourself like someone you love, even if you're not there yet. You might be tempted to wait until you feel worthy to be kind to yourself. Don't wait. Worthiness isn't something you earn. It's something you reclaim. Every time you choose a loving thought over a critical one, you shift your internal chemistry. Your nervous system starts to relax. Your energy begins to rise. That's how you rewire your experience from the inside out. Slowly, gently, truthfully, and eventually that inner critic starts to sound distant. Still there, but no longer in charge. No longer the loudest voice in the room. Because a new voice is emerging. One you've always deserved to hear. It's quieter, kinder, and far more powerful. And that's the voice we're going to nurture next. Imagine waking up and hearing, not criticism, but compassion. A voice that greets you with kindness before the world even has a chance to judge you. That's what you're building now. A new internal voice rooted in love, not fear. It starts soft, almost like a whisper. But if you listen closely, it says things like, you're doing your best, or it's okay to rest today. That's not fantasy. That's the new foundation of your truth. You don't need to believe it yet. Just repeat it, daily. Say it in the mirror, in the car, under your breath while doing dishes. I am worthy of love even when I mess up. I'm allowed to take up space. The universe responds to repetition, it doesn't ask for perfection. Over time, these phrases go from awkward to automatic. And eventually, they don't just live in your mouth, they live in your nervous system. Create rituals that affirm your worth. Set a reminder every morning that simply says, check in with your truth, or keep a journal where you write one kind thing to yourself every night. These aren't just exercises, they're medicine. They slowly shift the emotional gravity of your life. And just like brushing your teeth keeps your body clean, affirmations keep your spirit aligned. Will the critic still show up? Of course. But it won't rule you anymore. That's the secret. Liberation doesn't mean total silence. It means you choose which voice you follow. And day by day, the one that loves you becomes easier to hear, easier to trust. This is how you reclaim the universe within you, one sentence, one choice, one moment of grace at a time. Let go of the need to see instant change. That's the critic's timeline. The lover's voice works with patience. Celebrates small steps, not giant leaps. Cheers when you pause, not just when you win. The more time you spend with that voice, the more natural it feels. And one day you'll notice something powerful. The version of you who needed to perform is gone. You'll still feel fear sometimes, of course. But now there's a calm under the surface. A quiet confidence that says, I know who I am. You won't need to shout it or prove it, you'll just live it. And the people around you will feel it too. Because when you build that kind of inner peace, your energy shifts. And once your energy shifts, your entire reality begins to follow. So now you know, The mask was never your identity. It was your armor. And sure, it protected you once. But what if I told you the real strength isn't in holding it together, but in letting it fall? Because the moment you start honoring your truth over your performance, the universe starts moving with you, not against you. That's when things begin to shift. Let me ask you this. How much longer are you willing to live disconnected from who you really are? What would change if you gave yourself permission to rest, to feel, to finally be seen, fully, unapologetically? The secret isn't in becoming someone new. It's in remembering who you were before you were told to be someone else. You don't need fixing. You just need freedom. If this message stirred something inside you, that's not random, that's alignment. That means you're ready. Ready to take off the mask. Ready to rebuild your relationship with the only person who's never left your side. You. So go ahead, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and stay with me, because we're just getting started. Now watch this next video. It'll take everything you just unlocked and show you exactly how to apply it in your everyday life. Trust me, your soul's been waiting for this.